Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slash Film Daily for Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. On today's episode of the show, we are going to be doing something a little bit different. My name is Ben Pearson. I am a senior writer at slashfilm.com, and I am joined on today's episode for the first time in a long time by Slash Film senior news editor Jacob Hall.
Hello.
Jacob, welcome back to the podcast. It has been a minute, sir. So the reason that I wanted to have you on today is because, well, news is not super exciting right now, but there are some big changes that are happening in the world of all things slash film. And we've actually written a couple articles about this on the site, but just in case people, have not had the time to check those out, I thought it would be cool to bring you on and have you explain why you've been absent for a little while and sort of lay out the future of slash film.
Yeah, I've been gone because I've been really hard at work on the next generation of slash film, the next iteration, 2.0, if you will. I mean, you're getting a brand new slash film, folks. The website is being top to bottom redesigned, a completely brand new modern look. Both on desktop and on mobile, both launching, fingers crossed, in the very near future. I can't give you a TBD just yet, but it is. I can't give you a date just yet. It is TBD, but it will be sooner than you may think. Is what I'll say. As soon as I know the proper date. Everyone will know. That's my dog barking on the background.
That's all good. Jacob, I read the article that you wrote on Slash Film, and I'll link that to in the show notes so people can read that themselves. But you mentioned that you joined Slash Film in 2015, and there were discussions around that time about a redesign happening for the site. And I know that I came on board, I think 2017, and we've been having conversations for years about like, oh yeah, the site needs a new look, and now it's finally happening. So what do you think about that?
I'm glad. I mean, it's literally a conversation I've been having for 6 years now, and I can't discuss all the circumstances of what's going on behind the scenes right now. That will come soon to pass. But it's a case of we have other opportunities, other doors have opened for us at Slash Film, and that includes the redesign, which will not only be an aesthetic change. It will look very slick and modern. It'll have infinite scrolls, so you have to click on next page to find more stories. But also, it's going to load a lot faster. It's going to just function a lot better. It's going to look like the modern website that I think our writing deserves. It's a case where there will be a case where I think there'll be a certain segment of readers who like taking it back at first and want the old site back. And that's just. I think that in the long run, it's going to be good for the site, good for readers, good for the writers. It's just going to be. I think that's a long time coming, and if you think I'm rambling, it's because I am. It's because I'm working frequent 10 to 12-hour days to make sure Slash Film 2.0 is going to be the absolute best possible thing for everybody, people who work there and people who read it every day.
Yeah, and speaking of people that work there, one of the reasons that you've been so busy is that you've been putting out, casting a wide net and bringing a bunch of new writers into the fold and people that we've worked with before and bringing them up into more like a full-time sort of capacity or at least a more frequent writing capacity. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, first, I do want to say that everybody who was here before is still here. HT is now a news editor. She works alongside me, making sure that the site is doing what it needs to be done. Brad, Chris, and you, Ben, are all senior writers now, just making sure the site's voice is what it is going forward. But we did expand our news desk considerably with a lot of new people, some of whom are brand new to Slash Film, but most of whom have written for us in some capacity before. So let's read those names off. Jeremy Mathai, Shania Russell, Danielle Ryan, Vanessa Armstrong, Joshua Meyer, Marissa Mirabal, and Eric Vespi are all now on the Slash Film news desk at various shifts throughout the day, including an evening shift, a night shift, to make sure that we're getting all that stuff that happens after everybody else goes home. Chris Gates and Ariel Fisher are new editors. Chris is working on our new features section, which will launch soon. And Ariel is helping oversee a site in the evening after everybody else goes home. And Josh Spiegel, who's contributed us for a long time and wrote theme park bits for us, is transformed theme park bits from a once-a-week column into a regular beat, where he's covering all the theme park stuff for all of Slash Film. So instead of, one roundup once per week, Josh is popping in, whenever there's interesting theme park news. So it's a big change, a lot more names, a lot more people around, a lot more voices, a lot more people who I'm proud to work with every day, and more on the way. Slash Film is going to grow, and watch this space.
Yeah, and with all those people comes just a lot more news. I was scrolling back on the homepage earlier, looking for an article to reference from a piece that I was in the middle of writing. I had to scroll back, several pages to get back to stuff that we wrote even yesterday because all these new people are here. We are putting out a ton more stuff, so that's great for people who are listeners of this podcast and longtime readers of Slash Film. It's just new voices, all with the same capital V voice of that you've come to love from Slash Film, but just a lot of content. And I think that frees up a lot of other people to be able to do maybe hopefully some more interesting feature stuff. And like you mentioned, we have like a whole features, department almost that is going to be coming up with new editorials and fun things and lists and all sorts of stuff. So there's just, Jacob has been so frazzled over the past several weeks now. I feel bad for him because he's working so hard to get this up and running, but hopefully all of that work is going to pay off and is already starting to pay off. I wanted to mention that the Slash Filmcast has changed their name. So if you don't listen to that show, you should. It's great. That was actually the first podcast that I ever listened to back in, I think it was 2008 when they first launched. But I think Dave Chen and those guys talked about that on the most recent episode of that show. And Dave actually wrote an article for slashfilm.com explaining the change too. So I'll link that in the show notes if anybody has any, if we have any like double listeners to both podcasts.
And it should be emphasized. Dave emphasized this in his post, emphasized it in mine. The Slash Filmcast rebranding from Slash Filmcast to the Filmcast and stepping away from the site is an amicable thing where we remain really good friends. It's just that they're doing really well on their Patreon, and it's an incredibly successful operation, those three, beyond Slash Film. It makes more sense for them to take something that they own 100% and run with it,
right,
as opposed to remaining with us as we enter a new generation and a new iteration of Slash Film. So it's there's literally no bad blood there. People may try to cook some stuff up, but it's not even a thing. Dave Chen and I are already talking about future collaborations on the Slash Film while he takes care of the Filmcast is his own personal side project. So
yeah. We love those guys so much. So
if you hear rumors or stories about how, oh my God, there's an ugly divorce between the Filmcast and Slash Film, not even in the slightest. That's complete and total BS. We're best buds. It's just that things change, and Slash Film is going through a major change right now. And by major change, I mean more people, change in aesthetics, redesign. But I've been working very hard to make sure that Slash Film remains Slash Film, which is knowledgeable, funny, hopefully, informative, and just opinionated. I know that one thing I've been hearing a lot after I announced the redesign, which will no longer have a comment section, is about how much Slash Film has changed and how everybody wishes to go back to the way it once was. And I think it's a tiny minority of readers. And I guess my reaction to that is Slash Film has really evolved over the years. It's acknowledged how the landscape has changed and how we need to cover it responsibly. And I really hope people understand that Slash Film has always been a place for personal opinions and specific POVs, and a platform for people of all different backgrounds to talk about movies and TV and pop culture. And I'm really, really glad that Slash Film 2.0 is going to have a space for us to have more voices like that, and to have more opinions, and to have more people for you to agree and disagree with. Because what's the damn point in a movie website where everything is just vanilla, flavorless nonsense that you just go okay and then move on? 1,000 websites do that. Slash Film has always been about sharp takes and unique perspectives, and I'm really excited that this will continue to be the thing that makes us a unique website.
Yeah, and you've done such a great job. I mean, I'm putting a lot of that credit on your shoulders in terms of like reaching out and finding freelancers who are who bring different perspectives than just the stuff that the typical staff who's been with the site for a long time has been sort of feeding people for a long time. So I'm very excited to be working with these new people. Hopefully we'll have a chance to get some of them on the podcast soon.
They're being trained. They're being extensively trained in the news desk. You may hear Jeremy and Shania and Danielle and all the new folks at some point on this podcast. But for right now, it's the same cast. When they are fully trained on how and are fully established on the news desk, maybe we'll start hearing some new voices pop up every now and then.
Yeah, once the all of the cogs in the wheel, get the oil that they need, and the wheel is moving completely soon. And frankly, when you have like a second of free time to actually get back on this podcast, I look forward to having all of them and all of you and everybody back on the site or on the podcast rather in a regular way.
Yeah. Also, can I just talk about our one other thing we've been working on?
Yeah.
We're really trying to double down on what our social media is. So if you follow us on Twitter, you may notice that there's a little while back it stopped being Peter's personal feed. Peter had created his own Peter Sreda account, and Slashfilm has really completed that transition. We have a new logo, we have new art. It is a feed that has its own voice, and we're still experimenting around, but I feel very good about how our Twitter represents the entire voice of the site now, and will hopefully still be the go-to place for you to catch movie news. And we're doing more stuff with it. We're sharing movie trivia and trying out stuff. Like, it was Harrison Ford's birthday, so we wish Harrison Ford a happy birthday. That's the kind of thing you wouldn't see on our social media before, but it's there now. And the same applies to our Facebook and our brand new Instagram page, instagram.com/slashfilm, which didn't really exist until now. And we're still figuring out what our social is. But if you want to follow us on all three of those, those are all being revamped in pretty extensive ways in terms of how we use them, and I'm hoping you enjoy them, because we're trying a lot of stuff. And like I said, Slashfilm 2.0, this is the biggest change in 16 years of the website's existence in terms of our online presence, even though the actual content of the website will still be at its core what all of you have always enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And in terms of, we talked about the Filmcast splitting off into its own thing, but Slash Film Daily is still going to be a thing, and Peter's still around, and he's going to be hosting the show with me and whoever else needs to step in if both of us happen to be busy on the same day or something like that. So this podcast is not going anywhere, so don't worry about that. I think that's kind of it, Jacob, in terms of like hitting all of the big stuff for now. Is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that people know about?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Ben, Chris, HT, Brad, and Peter for we were the Slash Film team for a long time before this, and we were still here. But it's very much the case of, to paraphrase Andy Bernard from The Office, when did you know that? When you can know what the good old days were before you left them. And I'm not saying that good times aren't ahead, but I am saying that there already are days where I look back and go, oh man, we were that already felt like the good old days in a weird way in terms of a workplace environment, because I feel like we're just in such a different place already, and things for us are going to keep on changing, and hopefully in exciting, fun ways that will benefit us and benefit our readers. But I working with you guys has been one of the highlights of my life, and
me too, man.
And I'm glad we get to keep doing it no matter what changes.
Yes, I'm thrilled about that. I'm thrilled to be continuing here and continuing to bring you guys more stuff, on the site, of course, and on Slash Film Daily. So you can find more details about this stuff. Like I said, we have 2 articles that I've linked in the show notes. You can go to slashfilm.com. Soak it in now, folks, because, the look of the site is going to be very, very different. Oh, and one more thing I just wanted to point out. Jacob mentioned it, that the comments section is going away. And, people, I'm sure, will have all sorts of different thoughts about that. But one of my first thoughts when I heard about that was, some comment sections on the internet are not great. And some people in any comment section are probably going to poison the well a little bit. But by and large, the people that frequented the Slash Film comment section were pretty good people, I think. I didn't really spend a ton of time there. I certainly did not have a quote unquote presence there, but just in terms of scanning what was going on, it seemed like there were some friendships and some relationships that existed between commenters there. And when the site relaunch happens, when the redesign happens, the comment section is just going to completely disappear. So this is basically your last chance to, connect with those folks in a significant way before that means of communication is gone. So I just wanted to make sure that if you're one of these people who, pays a lot of attention to Slash Film and you listen to the show and you are an active participant in that comment section, and there are people there that you have made friendships with and want to keep in touch with, maybe reach out to them now to figure out how to keep those relationships going, instead of wishing, later on, oh, I wish I would have been able to contact that person, and now they have vanished into the internet, and I don't know, what other alias they go by other than, Slash Film Commenter 34 or whatever, you know what I mean? So, just wanted to send that out there. Okay, that is going to do it for today's episode of the show. We will be back tomorrow with, I think, the Loki season finale. So look forward to that. Slash Film Daily is published every weekday, bringing you the most exciting news from the world of movies and TV, as well as deeper dives into the great features you can find on the site. You can subscribe to this show on Apple, Google, Overcast, Spotify, all of the popular podcast apps, and send your feedback, questions, comments, and concerns to us at peter@slashfilm.com. Make sure to leave your name and general geographic location in case we mention your email on the air. Don't forget to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends, spread the word. Thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you tomorrow.